Even though Ashley lives in Australia, she is so obsessed with the Gilmore Girls that she's convinced that one day she's going to work at the Dragonfly Inn. So when she was in year 11 and 12, she did a hospitality course at TAFE so she'd be ready for when the opportunity arose.
It's a set, isn't it?
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't think it's a real thing.
I don't think they film on location. Look, we're obsessed with Obsessions at the moment because Paramount Plus has given us early access.
I don't mean to brag, but I've seen it before anybody else.
You are bragging.
I am bragging. It's like when someone does that humble brag and you go, no, you just wanted to say
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say it.
Okay.
And I finish it before anyone else.
Well, more on Fatal Attraction soon, but that's why we're talking about Obsessions. They're sponsoring this video. But Toni, is it true that you wanted people who listen to our podcast to talk about their obsessions to make your obsession with Robert Pattinson a little less weird?
So I was a hashtag Twihard back in the day, like unashamedly loved Twilight so much. My high school boyfriend broke up with me, fair enough, because I was so obsessed with it. He was like, Toni, we can't be
There's
doing
three
this.
people in this relationship.
Yeah. And I made my mum. So we didn't have this is so funny, but like we didn't have a printer at home.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, no one had a printer.
Not made of money, mate.
And so mum used to print off Twilight posters for me in the office.
I don't know if that's beautiful or the saddest thing I've ever heard. Can it be both?
I think it's kind, but it's not good. And so I would like have them laminated like all over my room and stuff because you couldn't buy the posters in Australia. And like I was so obsessed. And then Robert Pattinson and I obviously got into a relationship, an online relationship.
MySpace, you can read about that in Tony's
It's
book.
on MSN.
Oh, sorry.
I'm so sick of this.
Well, it actually wasn't fucking anywhere.
Yeah. So it was a woman called Rita from the United States.
That we found out later.
Yeah.
Well, this will make you feel a little bit better.
Please.
Francine writes in the Toni and Ryan Facebook group.
I
People have
love the
submitted
name
these.
Francine.
It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it is lovely.
She was so obsessed with this one boy in high school that she wrote him love letters and poems every day and she put them into a little box. I had our whole life planned out together, says Francine. And because his favourite colour was yellow, Francine changed her favourite colour to yellow. And she says that doesn't seem like a big deal now, but trust me, at the time it was huge.
I think I get that because like normally you're like, did you ever contact your books?
Yeah.
Like you had like coloured contact or whatever. Instead of them being purple, they would have been yellow all of a sudden. It would have been this old yellow thing that I had.
You know my mum. Mine were like multicoloured.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
They look like that.
Yeah.
One day, says Francine, instead of putting one of the love poems in the box, I put it in his locker. Like
By accident?
No, like she's like, today's the day.
So what was she doing with them before?
Well, she was just keeping them and writing these like, anonymous love letters. And she put it in the locker and then...
Anonymously or was it...
Well, no, it's like from Francine and she like declared her undying love for him with this beautiful poem. It's time that this guy found out.
How'd you go, Francine?
Later on in the day, he came up to speak with me.
And you think this is it, we're going to kiss.
Yeah. What would you do in that situation? Your high school crush?
Pass away.
Pass away?
Actually pass away.
All right, that's where I thought Francine had some Toni energy. I was so overwhelmed and mortified that I hyperventilated and burst into tears and fell to the ground before either of us had the chance to say anything.
Francine.
He left and he never approached me ever again.
What was he going to say?
I don't know. But he just went, like, she's like on the ground, hyperventilating. Her friends are coming around, like fanning her, like giving her some water.
She's got the brown paper bag, like.
And then he just goes, okay. And just.
He might have been coming over to say, well, I like you too, Francine.
Will you be my date to the prom?
Yeah.
I guess we'll never know.
If you're about to ask someone out and they hyperventilated, you wouldn't walk away. You'd stand there and help them. So I think he was walking over to go, thanks, but no thanks. And then just went, I'll just.
But there's that moment
maybe she's forgotten.
where you think someone is like normal and sane. Then he got a look at that and went,
yeah.
Bullet done.
Yeah. And goes like, oh, but I like the contact on her books. That's nice. You get that from Kmart.
Yellow.
I love yellow.
That's my favourite colour.
Yeah.
Now, I know you've actually glanced at this story about the fish because I said to Toni, I've put it in the Facebook group, people sending them through, and Toni goes, I saw about the fish.
I was like, I haven't read through them, but I saw one and,
Between the ages of 9 and 12, Chloe from Sydney was obsessed with betta fish, which for those playing along at home is like a Siamese fighting fish.
I didn't even know what it like.
Neither, but they like the Siamese because when I saw Siamese and I looked it up, we'll put it on the screen. But it's one of these fluffy looking ones,
right?
And I feel like Chloe now, like a decade later in the cold, harsh light of day, is sort of there's some self-awareness, and she's like looking back at how much of a freak she was.
There was a definite vibe of judgment of herself. In the yeah.
She writes, I had so fucking many of these betta fish, and I was part of dedicated online communities. This specific breed of fish was my entire personality.
Fuck.
I would get in fights with adult humans on the internet throwing accusations of animal abuse around because they had what I thought was an insufficient sized fish tank to hold the betta fish.
I mean, if you're a fish tank guy,
yeah,
or red flag for me.
Yeah, or yeah.
It's it's like birds.
But imagine,
I'm not a bird guy.
Tony's on the record, she's not a bird guy. Imagine going home from school when you're 12 and being like, well, I've got some fucking justice to serve tonight.
Throw your backpack down, your yellow contacted books. I just imagine, honestly, it is just so, I think it's not to upset the fish community, but
we're long gone.
I think it's just the underwhelming nature of like one little fish.
Well, she had heaps of them.
But you know what I mean? Like imagine if you're obsessed with French bulldogs or something, it just seems like a bit more significant or like substantial. This is tiny fish that probably cost $14 from Petco. Like,
who did I think I was? Says Chloe. The Siamese fighting... Sorry, who did I think I was? The Siamese fighting fish water police patrolling the tanks of other betta fish keepers. Where was the rest of my life? When did the fish stop and the rest of my life live? Like, this is what Chloe said, and this is where the self-reflection comes in. If it was anyone else, I would have bullied them.
Yeah, see, I think that if you can say, if someone else is doing that, I wouldn't like it, then you know that you're onto it, not a winner.
I would have bullied them for being a dickhead, but it was me. For years and years, I was the dickhead. I eventually grew out of the betta fish after 4 or so years.
That's a long time.
But in one of the forums, I made a friend, and 10 years later, we're both still really good friends.
The only person that Chloe didn't bully on the Betta Fish forum was this person.
Yeah.
Sorry, aren't forums a red flag? People being like part of a forum, I'm like, no.
Okay, Toni.
Facebook group, different forum.
You're the Bachelorette.
Oh my God.
And it gets down to the final 2. Yeah. And there's a forums guy and there's a fish tank guy.
Oh.
Which one are you dodging? Like, which one are you choosing?
I'm doing the honey badger, picking neither of them.
Alicia.
Hi, Alicia.
When I was 13, I was so obsessed with a boy, I stalked him on MySpace and found photos of him and his girlfriend, which is a bit upsetting, obviously.
Oh, yeah, you'd be cut by that.
I printed them out.
I hate how much I'm relating to these people.
I printed them out, or maybe got Mum to print them out at work.
Mum printed them at work, yep.
Mum printed them out at work, and I cut out his girlfriend's face and stuck photos of my own face on the girlfriend's body.
Nah, that's too far gone. Even for me, that's too far.
It seemed real. Again, Alicia was 13 at the time. She's older now. And I think,
it's a hard age.
And I think as she's typing this out, she goes,
maybe not.
It seemed really normal and fine at the time, but looking back, I'm so embarrassed, and I promise I'm not a serial killer.
Oh my God. Yeah. And your mum goes to work and she goes, why do you need all these pictures printed out? You go, just doing it for a friend.
I've got a school project.
Yeah. And cut out all the little heads of me as well that I've sent you.
Don't bring that girlfriend's face home.
God.
This video is sponsored by Paramount Plus. They gave us early access to the whole series of Fatal Attraction, which is why we're now talking about obsessions. Lizzie Kaplan is in it.
Lizzie Kaplan is fantastic. Because you know that she's from, she's Janice Ian from Mean Girls.
Very aware.
And she's also from, she's in New Girl. And, she's done heaps of stuff. Her range, honestly, she's like that brand Bic. You know how they do razors, pens, everything?
Everywhere.
She can do anything.
Because obviously Janice Ian's a quirky, specific character.
Yeah.
But this one's this show's a bit sexy, isn't it?
like, you'll never need Pornhub again. Honestly.
Paramount Plus, put that on the billboard. You know how they have like a magnificent performance and writing to... and then it's like, Toni Lodge, you'll never need...
Actually, though, never.
They're sponsoring this video. I don't know if that's what you wanted, Paramount Plus, but that's what you got.
Hope it's okay. Sorry.
I got a theory about Joshua Jackson, who's the male lead.
Yeah. Isn't he a bit of like, he's a long withstanding heartthrob?
So like, here's my theory, right? Girls go, oh, Joshua Jackson from Dawson's Creek.
Pacey from Dawson's Creek, yeah.
But boys, because when I saw it, I went, oh, Joshua Jackson, the Mighty Ducks.
See, I went straight to Pacey.
And I think that's the difference.
Yeah.
And
the difference between men and women is Pacey and Mighty Ducks.
And Charlie from the Mighty Ducks. But yeah, Fatal Attraction, it's sexy. You won't need other material, according to Toni Lodge, 2023. And it's now on Paramount Plus. And thanks for sponsoring this video. Now, Mel Davies. Now, we know a Mel Davies. It's not the one we know.
My heart just skipped a beat. Yeah, okay, it's not Mel Davies.
Let me send you this picture. Oh. And it's not... I'll just say it all turns out okay because this photo's like not very nice. And we'll show you on the screen now.
Oh, my gosh. Poor Bubba.
Yeah, so that's Mel Davies' son. And Mel Davies writes, I was so obsessed with the cinnamon buns from IKEA. And it seems obvious in hindsight.
Did she put her son in the oven? What?
No.
Sorry.
No. Let me read the thing.
I'll listen.
Yeah. Put her son in the oven.
No.
Shit. I was obsessed with the cinnamon buns from IKEA. It seems obvious in hindsight, but at the time I didn't realise whatever I eat, I transfer to my child when I'm breastfeeding.
Through breastfeeding.
Yeah, not the fucking...
Yeah, sorry.
It turns out my son's allergic to cinnamon.
Cutting off a little bit of your cinnamon bun, giving it to your baby.
Do you want a little bit,
do you want a little bit, mate?
So the kid's allergic to cinnamon.
Oh.
And of course you got no idea. The kid can't talk and you're like, oh.
Oh, and you just like, that's a figuring out phase, isn't it?
And so Mel goes, I feel so guilty now because at the time I'm sitting there stuffing my face with cinnamon buns going, what's the problem here? You know,
and you wouldn't even connect the two, would you?
Like, I didn't realise.
It seemed very suspicious.
Yeah. It's very what?
Very suspicious.
Okay. Whoa.
It seems very specific, doesn't it?
Can you say the scientists believe this cinnamon experiment is specific?
The scientists believe the cinnamon experiment was very specific.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
Do you need some water?
Sorry, that really took me by surprise. Anyway, yeah, it seems like a very specific allergy.
Once I found out, I vowed never to have a cinnamon bun from IKEA until I finished breastfeeding.
Aww.
So she had to give up her
vice.
Really treat. We're also not going to have any more children because that would be another 2 years without the cinnamon balls.
I mean, your next child might not be allergic to cinnamon,
I don't think that's what I thought. And I'm like, I wonder if she's thought that.
Oh.
But like by the off chance this other kid will also, she's like, well, I can't risk it for the balls because I'm going back to the good thing. But the kid is fine. And it's all worked out well.
Food from IKEA though is elite.
It really is.
It's really
good.
Is.
You live close to an IKEA.
I do.
Do you wander across?
Nah, I actually forget about it heaps. And someone the other day was like, oh, you know IKEA meatballs? And I was like, I'm going to have to jaunt over there, I reckon. Yeah.
All right, final one. Mm-hmm. And let me just put a big asterisk at the front of this. I think we've talked about this like just in the office before. People that go, oh, I got a funny story. And you go, well, hang on a second.
Oh, you can't say that and then not deliver.
Yeah, it's like, well, we'll see if I laugh and we'll see if... So... This isn't a funny story. And the funny thing is, but I don't think the funny thing's that funny. I actually think it's the opposite. I think the funny thing's actually pretty cooked.
You know, the other thing that people do is they like say something and it is quite funny and they go, oh, but here's the clincher. And then
get out on the high.
End earlier.
All right. So this is Melanie Holterman, which is the different Mel.
I'm Melanie Holterman.
And
should we be full naming Melanie Holterman on this video?
Oh, sorry. We'll give her Melanie
Schmolterman.
Melanie Holterneck.
Oh, nice.
She says the funny thing is, and when we get there, I'll just let you decide if you think it's actually funny or actually a bit fucking dark and cooked.
Okay.
Whew. Melanie Holterneck says, there was a time in my life where I was so obsessed with Fruit Loops. They're all I ate.
Like the cereal. Yep.
And at first I read that and I'm like, I get it. They're delicious. Sugary.
All right.
Real sugary, but delicious. It's the only thing I ate. I ate them straight out of the box. I ate them in a bowl with milk. I put them in a milkshake. I put them between bread and a sandwich. Any way I could have Fruit Loops, I had them. And I have no idea how my mum was so patient with me because she didn't yell. She was just kind of like tried to coach me out of it over time.
Yeah.
Funny thing is, I now have diabetes.
Oh.
Is that funny? I don't think that's funny. Just reading what Holton said.
No. So is melon pot like, I can't have them anymore? Or like,
That's just what the comment said.
Well, I'm really sorry to hear. I hope it's manageable. I don't know. Like, I bet you're missing the
loops.
The loops, yeah. Get that sweet loop on. I don't know.
I'll let everyone else watching on YouTube decide if they think that's the funny thing.
You know what would be nice? Maybe you and I go and we get a box of Fruit Loops and eat them in Mel's honour.
No, that's like rubbing it in her face.
Oh, is
like,
it?
Look at us non-diabetics. Fucking...
Yeah, just enjoying these loops, getting our loop on.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Please share your obsession to make us all feel a bit less embarrassed about ours in the comments here on YouTube. And thanks again to Paramount Plus for supporting our show and our channel and getting around us.
We love you.
Love
Bye.
you. Love you, Robin Pattinson. Bye.
Call me.